On the first day of the pregnancy test, the doctor pulled me into a group for pregnant women. The people in the group were chatting enthusiastically. My husband went to Singapore 2 days ago to buy me a bag in order to thank me for giving birth to his child. Really? My husband is very good to me too. The emerald on my hand was taken when he lit a sky lantern for me. I don't want to say it either, but my husband is always worried that I, a pregnant woman, might get hurt, so he insists on buying me a big villa. I thought everyone was just competing with each other, so I just took a look. I remained silent until they posted one photo after another. Weren't those things taken away from me by my movie star husband? So he used it all to coax his little lover? What's even more infuriating is that there are 8 in total. Oh. I don't want a mere son-in-law. 1. The group was chatting animatedly, and it seemed like they didn't even know they were sharing a husband. I took a deep breath and posted my wedding photos with Lu Yenzhou. The group suddenly fell silent. But soon someone at me, isn't that Yixing Entertainment's movie star Lu Yenzhou? Yes. Rumor has it that he is not only an award-winning actor, but also the president of Yixing Entertainment. So excited. I never thought I could give birth in the same hospital as Mrs. Lu. I look forward to meeting you in the future. Let me get an autographed photo of the movie Emperor. The group became even more lively, except that a few pregnant women who had just been showing off their wealth shut up. A few minutes later, I received 8 messages asking me to add my friend. I am pregnant, but I am not stupid. This photo you photoshopped is too fake. Why don't you remove it immediately? Are you sick? Why are you putting it on my husband's face? My husband is an award-winning actor. He and I have been secretly married for so many years. You are ruining my husband's reputation by posting this. I can sue you. Don't think you can seduce my husband just because you are his fangirl. I want to let you go if you try to take advantage of my husband's popularity. What kind of rotten shrimp or stinky fish dares to pretend to be the wife of the movie Emperor? I wonder if it will be pretending to be the real owner today. You even put my husband on the cover of your Moments. You're a dream girl, right? You are the bitch that my husband always pesters me, right? What kind of things can a woman like you who wants to destroy other people's families give birth to? My hands started to tremble. Just a second ago, I was wondering if it was a coincidence. But now, looking at the endless stream of abusive messages, I know that Lu Yenzhou cheated. The reason why they didn't dare to reveal their identities in the group was probably because Lu Yenzhou had expressly forbidden it. But Lu Yenzhou is just a son-in-law. Even his status as the best actor was earned through my money. Without me he would probably still be handing out flyers on the streets, so how dare he? I gritted my teeth and rejected all friend requests. Seeing that I failed their friend verification, they started insulting me in the group again. Actor Lu has not disclosed his marital status for so many years. What can you prove by photoshopping a picture? That's right, who the hell are you? How dare you pretend to be the wife of Mr. Lu? They are so eager to be famous, the prostitutes are so omnipresent that they even dare to sneak in among pregnant women. I think she just wants to take advantage of actor Lu's popularity, so she can sell it later. How dare the hospital allow such a shameless person to cause trouble in the group? Aren't you afraid that Yixing Entertainment will send you a lawyer's letter? I was so angry that I was shaking all over. Just as I was about to say a few words in rebuttal, I found myself kicked out of the group chat. I looked at the wedding photo hanging in the living room and felt angry. After sending a few messages to Lu Yenzhou, I hurriedly grabbed my bag and rushed to the hospital. Since he has so many children out there, then he can forget about wanting this from me. 2. As soon as I arrived at the hospital, I went straight to the abortion department. Anyway, Lu Yenzhou doesn't know about this child yet, so it's better to beat him now. But just as I passed the obstetrics and gynecology department, I heard my mother-in-law's voice coming from the clinic. She is carrying my Lu family's great-grandson in her belly. There can't be any mistakes. You have to take a good look at her for me. I paused. Through the crack in the door, I saw my mother-in-law with her hand on a pregnant woman's belly, her face full of worry. I also recognized that pregnant woman. She was one of Lu Yenzhou's lovers in the group, Du Xiaomei. My blood froze instantly. It turns out that the mother-in-law not only knew that Lu Yenzhou had mistresses outside, but also took care of those women personally. I was just about to leave when my mother-in-law opened the door and came out. When she saw me, her face darkened instantly. "Why are you here when you're not at home?" I looked at Du Xiaomei, who was still in the clinic, and asked, "Who is she?" My mother-in-law was visibly panicked for a moment, and then she stood in front of me and said, "I think you're crazy. You deliberately came here. What do you want to do?" Then she looked heartbroken again. "It's a sin for us Yenzhou to marry you. We've been married for 6 years and I can't even lay an egg. I came to the hospital with good intentions to get you some medicine, but you actually questioned me. You really meant well but ended up doing something bad." As she said that, she pulled me up and walked out. "You don't know how those relatives laugh at us behind our backs. Go back quickly. Don't always come out and embarrass yourself." I looked at her and my nose felt a little sore. I have literally been childless for the past 6 years. KVA rabbit toss story plus D incident C less than I house. Bring X plus take this text 8 do not, 6 private, 9 self, Z move B transport. When my mother-in-law was being mean to me at the beginning, Lu Yenzhou would speak up for me and even scold her and ask her to move out. But it's not like I didn't try. But every time Lu Yenzhou saw me retching because of the bitterness of Chinese medicine, he would hug me distressfully and say, "I don't love children, I only want you, and I can't bear to see you suffer so much." I thought he really loved me. So I secretly took Chinese medicine for 6 years, and now I'm finally feeling better. But it turned out that he, who said he didn't love children, actually had 8 children outside. I came to my senses and shook her hand off. "Since you feel ashamed, then ask Lu Yenzhou to divorce me." She was stunned for a moment, and I didn't want to argue with her anymore, so I prepared to make an appointment for an abortion. As a result, Du Xiaomei suddenly ran out and grabbed my wrist. "I recognize you. You are the woman who pretended to be my husband or wife in the group. Good on you. How dare you show up in front of me?" Seeing this, the mother-in-law hurriedly supported her and said, "Xiaomei, you just got pregnant. Don't get angry and hurt my grandson." But Du Xiaomei refused to give in and held my hand tightly, saying, "If she hadn't randomly posted photos of herself and my husband in the group, I wouldn't have been so angry that I almost had a miscarriage." When my mother-in-law heard this, she stepped forward and slapped me in the face. "So it's you. You can't give birth yourself. And you don't let others give birth. How can you be so vicious? If anything happens to my grandson, I will be the first one to not let you go." I was stunned by the sudden slap. But I quickly stood up and slapped him back with my backhand. My mother-in-law was stunned by the beating, and then she pointed at me and yelled, "Who the hell are you? You even dare to hit me?" When she reached out her hand, I slapped her again. "Why don't you dare? You indulged your son in having a mistress and having a bastard, and I thought it was too late to beat him." Mistress? Bastard? Upon hearing this, Du Xiaomei instantly let go of my wrist and pushed me away. "What are you talking about?" I took out my phone and called Lu Yenzhou in front of everyone. "Tell Lu Yenzhou to come over here, and you'll know what I mean." But I called several times and no one answered. Seeing this, the mother-in-law laughed sarcastically. "My son is the president of Yixing Entertainment. How can he have time to care about your trivial matters?" Du Xiaomei pulled her arm and acted coquettishly. "Mom, who is she?" 3. My mother-in-law glanced at me and said, "She is just a woman my son plays with outside. Just give birth to my grandson. My son will not treat you unfairly." Seeing that I didn't say anything, she moved closer to me and continued, "Shinsini, do you think my son is still the timid person he used to be? He's worth over 100 million now. You've long been unworthy of him. I'm only keeping you because I feel sorry for you." Passers-by heard these words and gathered around. "What does that mean? She said her son is the president of Yixing Entertainment? Is that Mr. Lu?" The crowd began to stir, and everyone hurriedly took out their phones and quietly started live streaming. "The wife of Mr. Lu who is secretly married is her, so the other one is the mistress." This movie star is having a lot of fun. The girl was a woman with a beautiful face. I watched their live broadcast and laughed in my heart. This way the other 7 lovers and my parents should also see it, right? Du Xiaomei was stunned for a moment before she realized what her mother-in-law meant. She grabbed my hair and slammed me against the wall. I told you that you are my husband's dream girl and mistress. You have been pestering my husband for so long. You are so shameless. She hit me hard and my abdomen hurt so much that I had to squat down with the help of the wall. But my mother-in-law not only did not help me, she also said in a sarcastic tone, "You always like to act aggrieved in front of my son and try to drive a wedge between us mother and son. Now that I've learned my lesson, I'll see if you dare to do it again." I clutched my abdomen tightly and called for help to the nurse in the corridor. My stomach hurts so much, I might be having a miscarriage. The nurse heard this and hurried over to me, but was stopped by my mother-in-law. Abortion? She's just faking it. She's just a hen that can't lay eggs, how can she be pregnant? Seeing the nurse was about to take a step forward, Du Xiaomei said viciously, "Do you know that my husband donated a building to your hospital? If you dare to help her, I'll make you get out right now." The nurse looked at me awkwardly for a few times, but ultimately didn't dare to come up. Du Xiaomei put her hands on her hips with a proud look on her face. "You may not know, but the building my husband donated to the hospital is called Building M. It's named after me. You even dare to acknowledge his wife. You really are asking for your life." Yeah. I endured the abdominal pain and sneered. That building was clearly donated by me. It was called Building M because my mother's surname is Meng. What does it have to do with her? I didn't expect that Lu Yenzhou would even use this to coax his little lover. But my stomach was hurting so much that I was sweating coldly and I didn't have the energy to argue with them. My mother-in-law kicked me a few times and snorted coldly. "Who dares to come to the hospital and try to hurt my grandson? Luckily I met you, otherwise I would have made you even more miserable." Others who heard this also pointed at me and whispered, "Being a mistress and wanting to harm the original wife, how vicious. No wonder Mr. Lu has been secretly married. It seems that he does this to protect his wife. The whole internet knows about that mistress now, so she's done for." At this time, Lu Yenzhou suddenly called me. His tone was flustered and hurried. "Cindy, wait for me, I'll be there soon." It seems that I saw the live broadcast. Du Xiaomei saw my phone screen and angrily snatched it away and threw it to the ground. "How dare you secretly call my husband? Look at how I deal with you." As she said that, she grabbed my hair and walked towards the hospital lobby. "Let everyone see what a vicious mistress looks like." I staggered and was pulled to the ground by her. A long trail of blood was left behind. Finally someone reacted and shouted, "She really had a miscarriage. Stop it now." Du Xiaomei looked back a few times, but she didn't let go at all. "Even if it really is a miscarriage, so what? It's just a bastard. It's gone, it's gone." My mother-in-law was stunned, probably because she didn't expect that I was really pregnant. Du Xiaomei dragged me around, and I was bleeding from under my body, and I almost fainted. At this moment, Lu Yenzhou's panicked voice came from the hall. "Stop. Stop. Don't hurt my wife." Behind him, my parents were also panicking. 4. When Du Xiaomei saw Lu Yenzhou, she immediately let go. She ran over crying, "Hubby, you're finally here. If you were a little later, I, a pregnant woman, would definitely be bullied to death by her mistress." Everyone picked up their phones and took photos. "Wow, it really is Mr. Lu. Oh my god. Mr. Lu is so handsome. What's the point of being handsome? He's still cheating on his wife while she's pregnant." When Lu Yenzhou heard these words, he hurriedly asked people to disperse. Then he lowered his voice and said to Du Xiaomei, "What on earth are you doing?" My parents came to their senses, quickly took off their clothes and put them on me, and yelled at the hospital receptionist, "How can you be doctors? Can't you see that there are people here who need medical treatment?" Just then, 2 women ran into the crowd. If I'm not mistaken, it should be the other 2 lovers Huang Ling and Chen Ting. As soon as they saw Du Xiaomei, they kicked her like crazy. You said you are Lu Yenzhou's wife? Are you sick? How dare you claim this? That's right. It's obviously me. The mother-in-law then realized that something was wrong and hurriedly scolded everyone around to turn off the live broadcast. Then he pulled the two apart and said in a low voice, Shaoling. Shouting. Be careful of the baby in your belly. They are all my golden grandchildren. As soon as these words came out, the whole audience was shocked. Who are these two? Are they pregnant too? Mr. Lu is a stud. So capable. My parents looked extremely grim when they saw this scene. Lu Yenzhou was so panicked that he wanted to hide immediately. He reached out to pick me up and said, see the doctor first. We can talk about other things later. Before I could slap his hand away, several lovers rushed to pull him to their side. Hubby. You're usually under a lot of pressure, so I can forgive you for messing around outside. As long as you still have me and the baby in your heart. What do you mean your husband? It's my husband. Mine. Soon after, several pregnant women came one after another. As soon as they arrived, they pushed each other. You shameless mistresses. Lu Yenzhou's face turned pale, and he waved his hands at me hurriedly. It's not like that, it's all a misunderstanding. After being pushed aside, Du Xiaomei said to her mother-in-law with a face full of grievance, Mom, what's going on? The mother-in-law blushed and stiffened her neck and said, in our place, it's normal to have several wives. As long as you can pass on my son's excellent genes, you will all be my daughters-in-law. Besides, you haven't even given birth yet. It will only count after the baby is born and the DNA is tested. The scene suddenly became quiet. Then there was another louder discussion. Oh my God, they think they are the concubine selected in the harem. What is being a woman? A baby-bearing machine? Do you really think your genes are that good? Sowing seeds everywhere is disgusting. What movie star? He will be black all his life. The character that Lu Yenzhou had worked so hard to build collapsed in an instant. He hurriedly called his assistant in, and then tried to silence everyone with money. Take the money and delete all the videos. Otherwise I will sue you for violating my reputation. After the hospital learned of this situation, it hurriedly asked security to disperse the people. The lovers looked at each other for a few seconds and finally understood what their mother-in-law said. Finally, they all looked at me and said, the baby in my belly must be my husband's. I think she is the worst. If it weren't for her, how could my husband be involved in such a scandal now? That's right. So what if my husband has a woman outside? As long as you don't harm my husband's future and just stay quiet, I won't say anything. I looked at them and felt nothing but sadness. They were actually willing to share a piece of trash. My dad glared at Lu Yenzhou fiercely, and he knelt down in fear. Dad, I really don't know them. 5. Dad? Du Xiaomei was the first to react. She stepped forward and grabbed my father's hand. It seems that you are my husband's father. It turns out that my husband's handsomeness is inherited from you. Others also rushed forward. Dad, I'm pregnant with your grandson. He's very strong, it must be a son. My belly looks the biggest, so he must be the eldest grandson. Don't worry, I will definitely teach him well in the future so that he can inherit Yixing Entertainment. My dad was so angry that he pushed them away and said, Inherit Yixing Entertainment? Are you worthy of it? Several people staggered after being pushed, and then suddenly pointed at me and cried, I know you are an important person and you want to save face, so you protect that woman like this. But now she has ruined your son's reputation. Why are you still protecting her? That's right. If I see a woman like this, I'd better kick her out as soon as possible and cut off all ties with her. Either you contact the media right now and say that she is just a fake socialite working as a sidekick, and everything that happened today was staged by her to become famous. Yes. She looks so cheap, we can get rid of her with just 100,000. My mother was also trembling with anger when she heard these words. She asked Lu Yenzhou word by word, is this how you treat my daughter? Seeing that Du Xiaomei and the others wanted to talk, Lu Yenzhou was so anxious that he picked up the display screen on the front desk and threw it at them. I told you to shut up. Don't you understand? Several people were so frightened that they dared not move. The mother-in-law frowned and scolded him. Don't hit my grandson. You are so outstanding now because of the genes I gave you. My grandchildren are the pride of the future. What if you break it? Seeing that they had the support of their mother-in-law, Du Xiaomei and the others acted proudly to my father. Dad, Yenzhou is your only son. Even if you don't think about yourself, you have to think about him. The babies we are pregnant with are all his children. Although I felt weak all over, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Dad, why didn't I know I had a brother? Everyone was stunned, and the mother-in-law stiffened her neck and said, my son's father is much better than him. At least he wouldn't teach his daughter to harm her husband's flesh and blood. Du Xiaomei instantly let go of my dad's hand and said, hey, it turns out you're the unlucky girl's dad. Why are you pretending? Seeing that my face was getting paler and paler, my father didn't bother to pay attention to them. Just when I was about to faint, the nurse finally arrived and lifted me onto a stretcher. But the mother-in-law was still sneerful. It's so easy to miscarry, it's obviously of poor quality. Maybe, none of them belong to my son. My mother was so angry that she walked up to her and grabbed her hair. Say that again. My daughter and your son are suffering, and you still have the nerve to say this. The mother-in-law couldn't bear to show weakness and pushed my mother away. What do you mean by suffering? My son is now the president of Yixing Entertainment. What suffering has your daughter endured? It is the greatest blessing in her life that she can be blessed by my son. My father sneered, so that's how it is. It seems that you don't know that your cowardly son is married into our Shen family, right? Before the mother-in-law could retort, the 7 lovers came up to her. Watch your mouth. What do you mean by marrying into the family? My husband is an award-winning actor. Just standing there, he makes more in one day than you guys will earn in your entire life. I think your whole family is suffering from paranoia. The 7 lovers were talking to each other, and Lu Yenzhou couldn't stop them at all. My dad glanced at him, who was sweating profusely, and snorted coldly. Then he called the company and said, starting today, Lu Yenzhou's position as the president of Yixing Entertainment will be revoked, and all his shares that have not yet officially taken effect will be reclaimed. I want to see how he can support his lover without arsony. 6. Funny enough, my dad was planning to officially give him those shares on our wedding anniversary next month. But now, it's all gone. Lu Yenzhou shook his head in panic, and then he didn't care about the people who were still watching the fun outside, and knelt down in front of my dad. Dad. Believe me, they are just my fans. The mother-in-law stepped forward and pulled him up. Son, you are the movie emperor. You are the president of Yixing Entertainment. How can you kneel to them? But Lu Yenzhou suddenly pushed her to the ground. That's enough. Don't you understand? Yixing Entertainment. It's Sunny's name. The boss behind it is Shen's group. Only then did my mother-in-law realize that everything Lu Yenzhou had was not because of his excellent genes, but because of me. The stretcher was pushed into the operating room and the quarrel outside stopped abruptly. A few hours later, I woke up in the hospital room. Sunny, you're awake. My mother's voice was a little hoarse. She held my hand, her palms were full of sweat. The operation was done very cleanly, don't think too much about it. Also, Mom has found the best lawyer in the city for you, and she will definitely make Lu Yenzhou divorce you. Divorce. These 2 words went around in my mind several times, but they were not as painful as I had imagined. Just then, the door of the ward was pushed open. Lu Yenzhou walked in carrying an insulated box. What divorce? I don't want a divorce. The father stopped him and said, what are you doing here? Don't you think you haven't hurt my daughter badly enough? Lu Yenzhou didn't get angry. Instead, he skillfully opened the thermos box, scooped a spoonful with a small spoon, blew gently to cool it down, and then brought it to my mouth. He continued to defend himself. Sunny, they are all my fans and have serious mental illnesses. They threatened to commit suicide in order to see me. I didn't want to have any negative information, so I had no choice but to meet them. But the children in their bellies were also conceived by him out of necessity? I raised my hand and knocked the spoon over. Get out of here. He was stunned for a moment, then he covered me with the quilt with concern. Why didn't you tell me that you recovered? Don't blame my mom. She made the chicken soup. She really knows she was wrong. She indulged them because she thought you were infertile. She originally planned to give the child to you after it was born. Before he could finish his words, my mother slapped him hard in the face. My mother was so angry that she was shaking all over. Are you talking like a human being? So you cheated on me and gave birth to a bastard, and my daughter is supposed to be grateful to you? I have to raise a child for you? Lu Yanzhou shook his head violently. That's not what I meant, Mom, don't misunderstand me. He explained eagerly, I just don't want Sunny to work so hard to give birth to a child for me. Then he looked at me sincerely and said, I know you are in a bad mood because you lost your baby. Sunny, when you get better, I will hold a press conference to announce our relationship to the world and officially announce that you are the wife of the movie emperor, okay? When I heard this, I still felt a little bitter. 6 years ago, I acted like a spoiled child and asked him if he could make our relationship public. But he always rejected me on the grounds that his career path was more important. For 6 whole years, because of him, I didn't dare to post any photos that had any trace of him, for fear of affecting him. But in fact, there are not so many important or unimportant things. He just doesn't want to think about it. I came back to my senses and turned my head away. Lu Yanzhou, it's too late to talk about this now. 7. I saw the panic that flashed across Lu Yanzhou's eyes, and my heart calmed down instead. He opened his mouth and wanted to explain something, but suddenly there was a noise outside the ward door. Through the crack in the door, I saw several reporters holding cameras and filming the entrance of the ward. Lu Yanzhou's expression suddenly turned ugly. He hurried to the window and closed the curtains. Sunny, you take a rest first. I'll go take care of it. He left the ward in a hurry, but the reporters showed no sign of leaving. I vaguely heard an argument outside and the sound of flashlights going off and on. My mother came over and sat down next to me, stroking my hand gently. Don't worry, daughter, I will handle these reporters. But I knew in my heart that this matter could no longer be concealed. Sure enough, that night, when I was lying on the hospital bed and checking my phone, the hot search on Weibo had already exploded. Hashtag Lu the movie emperor kneels to his wife in the hospital hashtag. Hashtag Lu Yanzhou's 8 women are pregnant at the same time hashtag. Hashtag the actor is a scumbag hashtag. I clicked on the first topic, and it was full of videos taken in the hospital today. Yu's turn to ethereal paralysis, the seat of the temple, the river, the heart, the heart. There were scenes of Lu Yanzhou kneeling in front of my father, shots of my mother-in-law being pushed to the ground, and a group photo of the 8 women standing together with their bellies bulging. The comments of netizens are even more pointed. I am sick of it. Why does he want to be the emperor and sow seeds everywhere instead of being a son-in-law of a wealthy family? There is no one like this who has so many fans. This kind of low-quality star should be banned as soon as possible. The daughter of the Shen family is so miserable, meeting such an excellent husband. The more I read, the happier I felt, and I even couldn't help but like a few particularly harsh comments. Over the next few days, things escalated. Some netizens began to dig deep into the identities of the 8 women and found that among them were his crazy fans, secretaries in the company, and extras he met on the set. The most outrageous thing is that someone found out that one of the women was a college student, and Lu Yanzhou had been supporting her for 2 whole years. I looked at the shocking chat records on the phone screen and felt mixed emotions. It turns out that what I thought was loyalty and affection for the past 6 years was just a joke. Lu Yanzhou's agent was extremely anxious and was deleting posts every day until his hands were tired, but there were too many people leaking information. What's even worse is that the brands are starting to get anxious. They did not dare to offend the Shen family, and they all found excuses to terminate the endorsement contract with Lu Yanzhou. In just 3 days, Lu Yanzhou lost 5 endorsements and 2 dramas to be broadcast, and the penalty for breach of contract was as high as 30 million. I was lying on the hospital bed, reading the news, and I felt happier than ever before. A few days later, when I was about to be discharged from the hospital, the nurse told me that Lu Yenzhou had been kneeling outside the ward all night. I looked out through the window and saw him kneeling at the hospital entrance, surrounded by a crowd of onlookers and a few reporters taking pictures. The nurse asked cautiously, "Miss Shen, do you want to call the police?" I shook my head. "No, let him kneel." Lu Yenzhou probably wanted to gain sympathy in this way, but unfortunately he miscalculated. The public opinion on the internet did not improve because of his confession. Instead, the criticism became even fiercer. Who are you putting on a show for? Why didn't you think about the consequences when you cheated? Will kneeling be useful? Can it make those 8 children disappear? The actor's acting skills are good, but it's a pity that he was used in the wrong place. Netizens all understand this simple truth, but he is still pretending. When he saw me coming out, he hurriedly shouted to the media, "I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I am willing to transfer all my property to my wife Cindy, including the shares of Yixing Entertainment, and I only ask her not to divorce me. I only love her in my life." Hearing this, my father and mother looked at each other and laughed. My dad sneered and said, "Lu Yenzhou, are you confused? When did Yixing Entertainment have your shares?" Without waiting for Lu Yenzhou to speak, my mother took out a document from her bag and threw it directly in front of the media. "You can take a look for yourselves. That is the shareholder structure chart of Yixing Entertainment." It was clearly written on it that Lu Yenzhou was only the executive president and did not own a single share from beginning to end. Lu Yenzhou picked up the document, his face becoming paler and paler. "Impossible, this is impossible. I am clearly the one managing the company." My dad bluntly said, "Managing does not mean owning. How do you think you got the title of Best Actor? How do you think you got all those resources? They were all acquired with our Shen family's money." As she spoke, my mother took out another document. "This is all the evidence of how we created a persona for you and canvassed for votes. The total cost was 30 million. Lu Yenzhou, without my daughter, you are nothing." 8. When the reporters around heard this, they immediately became excited and all their cameras were focused on Lu Yenzhou. His face turned red and he wanted to explain something, but after opening his mouth for a long time, he couldn't say a word. The internet soon exploded again. I said, "How could he be the best actor without any acting skills? He really brought money into the production. He is still a gigolo. If he didn't have the daughter of the Shen family, he wouldn't even be considered an 18th tier star. The Shen family is publicly executing someone. It's so satisfying." That afternoon, Yixing Entertainment issued an announcement, officially terminating all cooperation with Lu Yenzhou. Soon after, major brands and film and television companies followed suit, not only terminating their contracts with him, but also demanding that he pay high penalties for breach of contract. Lu Yenzhou is really finished now. A week later, I was watching the news at home and I actually saw Lu Yenzhou standing on the rooftop of the hospital. The host's voice came through the TV. According to the on-site reporters, the movie star Lu Yenzhou attempted suicide on the rooftop of the hospital due to emotional disputes and career setbacks. He is looking forward to his wife Shen Xinyi's appearance. I looked at the crumbling figure on the screen, feeling no emotion at all. It's better to jump, and I don't have to file for divorce. Sure enough, after Lu Yenzhou had been making a fuss on the rooftop for 2 hours, he was finally rescued by firefighters. Netizens were even more disdainful of his performance. "He's acting again. If he really wanted to die, he would have died a long time ago. Who are you threatening? Do you think you can gain sympathy by doing this? Please really jump once, and stop disgusting me." On the day when I was about to go back to the hospital for a physical examination, as soon as I went out, I saw Lu Yenzhou standing at the door. In his hand he held a bouquet of white roses, which used to be my favorite flower. Seeing it now just makes me sick. Lu Yenzhou looked much more haggard, with bloodshot eyes and untidy beard, completely lacking the charm of his former movie star. His voice was a little choked. "Cindy, you finally came out. I have been reflecting on this for the past few days and I really know I was wrong. I have cut off contact with those women, and I sent my mother back to her hometown. Sunny, can we start over? He took a few steps closer and tried to hand me the flowers, but I knocked them away. I looked at him expressionlessly. Lu Yenzhou, do you think I will forgive you like this? He hurriedly shook his head. Sunny, I swear, I never really touched them. Those children were all artificially conceived. I almost laughed out loud when I heard this even more ridiculous explanation. I got in the car, closed the door, and left him behind. When I was browsing my phone at night, I accidentally saw a few auction information with particularly eye-catching titles. The Cartier watch given by Mr. Liu. 30,000, no bargaining. Come if you understand. The shirt that Mr. Liu has worn, never washed, take it away for 5,000. This is the cup that Mr. Liu drank from himself, guaranteed to be authentic. I clicked on the details and found that I recognized all those things. That Cartier watch was the wedding anniversary gift Lu Yenzhou gave me, that shirt was a custom-made one I bought for him, and my jewelry box, cosmetics, and even the bags I used were all on it. When did these things disappear from my house? I asked my assistant to check the identities of these sellers, but the results made me even angrier. 8 accounts, corresponding to Lu Yenzhou's 8 lovers. It turned out that after Lu Yenzhou became unpopular, they started reselling the things that Lu Yenzhou stole from me. They really are in love. But how could I fulfill their wish so easily? I immediately contacted the legal team and private detectives to thoroughly investigate all illegal activities of Lu Yenzhou and his 8 mistresses. It turned out that Lu Yenzhou's problem was much more serious than I thought. Not only did he steal my personal belongings, he was also suspected of economic crimes such as money laundering and tax evasion. I organized all the evidence and submitted it to the relevant departments at one time, and exposed it through the media. As the investigation deepened, Lu Yenzhou was formally filed and faced multiple criminal charges, and his 8 mistresses were also implicated for various illegal activities. After hearing the news, my ex-mother-in-law ran to me angrily and made a scene, but was directly asked to leave the Shen family mansion by the security guard. Mr. Shen has made it clear that if you come to harass us again, the Shen family will pursue legal responsibility. She was so emotional that she ran headfirst into a car on the road and became paralyzed. In court, faced with overwhelming evidence, Lu Yenzhou attempted to defend himself, claiming that those lovers were all voluntary and that he was also a victim. But my legal team presented more evidence that he couldn't refute. The 8 lovers accused each other in court and the situation got out of control several times. In the end, Lu Yenzhou was sentenced to 5 years in prison, and his 8 mistresses were sentenced to terms ranging from 1 to 3 years. And I took back everything that belonged to me. Half a month later, I received the divorce decree and became single again. On the same day, I announced that I would soon start shooting a movie based on this incident, which would completely nail these people to the pillar of shame. Although justice came late, it finally came.